Hello guys, it's Joanne here. Welcome again to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to sew this beautiful bustier blouse with a scallop design. So if you're interested in something like this, kindly stick around, watch this video to the end so that you see how I achieved all of this. And also, if you've not subscribed to my channel, please do want to click on the subscribe button, turn on your notification bell for more videos so that anytime I upload content like this, you'll be the first to be notified. So guys, without wasting much of your time, let's get right into the tutorial. So guys, I'm going to be joining each of these pieces you're seeing here. Now this is the center front. For this part where I'll be joining to the side, I added ½ inch. Notice that this center front is on fold. So fold your center front and cut. Now I'm going to take off this pattern and show you guys what I did on the wrong side. Now for the wrong side of this center front, I added stay. Now on the bustier area, you're going to cut about 3 stays and you're going to be gumming around the bustier area from the underbust all the way to the top, leaving about ½ inch on the top. For the lining piece of the center front, I added paper stay to that. For this side here, I added ½ inch around the part I'm going to be stitching the center front on. Then on the side, I added 2 inches. So for this side part, the bustier area, I also did the same thing I did for the center front, okay, with stay. Now for the lining, I added paper stay to it. So this is the back bodice. I did not add any allowance to the neckline. Now for the zipper part, I added 1.5 inches. For the side, I added 2 inches. Now for the down part, I did not add any allowance because actually I added extra allowance to the pattern when I was cutting. So that's why you need to watch the cutting part so that you follow through with every step you are going to be taking to stitch this top. Okay, now I'm going to transfer the dart I have on the pattern paper to the main back bodice. So to do that, I had to use my pin to place it around the waistline area. Okay, I now indicated where I have the dart, the main dart intake. Okay, so I'm going to be doing the same thing for this other top part here. I had to place my pin here as well, and I'm going to be making a mark here and on the down part as well. So with this, I have successfully transferred the dart from the pattern paper to the main fabric. Okay, now I don't know what method you use to transfer your own dart, but do what works for you. But anyhow you're going to be doing, make sure you transfer the dart from the pattern paper to the main bodies. Also do the same thing for the lining piece, and I'm going to take this to my sewing machine and stitch the dart. Now for the center front here, I'm going to be placing the right side facing me. Okay, make the right side of your center front face you, and you're going to be placing the side to the right side of the side to the right side of the center front, and also place this other one here. So you're going to be stitching the side like this by ½ inch. Okay, please make sure you indicate where you have your underbust on both the center front and the side front. Possibly you can use your scissors and make a notch around the underbust. Take this to your sewing machine and stitch by ½ inch all the way to the top. Now do the same thing for the lining piece. After I was done stitching, this is exactly what I have here. Let me open this up for you guys to see. So notice that I notch around the parts that I stitch. You have to notch, especially around the underbusts. Please make a notch around that part and open up the seam and iron. Do the same thing for the lining piece. Okay, now when I open this up, you've seen how the bustier is sitting very pretty. So I'm going to have to fold this back because I'm going to be working on this main bodies. So before we begin, I'm going to be taking the necessary measurement, which is the bust circumference, the underbust circumference, the waist circumference, and of course the hip circumference. So divide your bust by 4 and confirm the measurement you have. The underbust, do the same thing. The waist, do the same thing. And of course the hip, do the same thing. So note the allowance you have left. Now after that, I'm going to come here to this top part and I'm going to be marking the around shoulder measurement. Now from this center part here, you're going to come in by the measurements for your around shoulder. That's why you have to watch the cutting part. I took my time to explain in detail how to get your around shoulder measurements. Okay, so mine, what I'm working with is 6. Okay, so I indicated that point and I went up by 4.5 inches. That's, I'm taking away the shoulder measurement, and I came down by about 8.5 inches. So you are going to note your own measurement for your armhole and do the same thing I did here. All right, come down by your armhole measurements. I don't know if it is 8 or 8.5, so you have to calculate your armhole measurement. Now you're going to connect it all the way to that point that you marked for your around shoulder, and you're going to be cutting it out just the same way I am doing here. Now once I was done with that, the next thing we are going to be doing will be to start taking the measurement for the scallop design around this down part. So if you've noticed, I've taped this center front to the side front down. Please ensure that while taping you do not overlap each other. So ensure that it is close together but not overlapping each other. Now after that, I'm going to take a measurement from the waist part here. I'm going to be coming down by like 4.075. You can also do 4.5. You can also do 5 inches. Now for that point I marked 4.075, I'm going to be taking my pencil to start creating the scallop design. So for this scallop design, I had to create this using my free hand because I did not really see anything to use as a guide for me to create this scallop design. At this point, you have to be creative about it. Just create it in such a way that it goes all the way from the center part going down to the side. All right, if you've noticed the allowance we added around on the down parts, you're going to be creating the scallop design to exceed that line on the side. Okay, so just watch the way I'm doing this and follow the same way, or you can create your own. Just be creative about it. So notice this line I have here. So we are going to be creating it in such a way that it goes all the way to this down parts, and at some point we are going to be exceeding the line. Okay, so as you're going, you've seen the way it's going from the center part, you keep going down that it exceeds the line you have on this down part. All right, so that's how you're going to be doing this. It is not hard, guys, so you have to be creative about it. You can do yours a bit different from what I have here. Okay, so guys, notice that when I got to the side, I extended the scallop design by like 1.5 inches from the line I drew there. Okay, from the main blouse length, I extended the measurement by like 1.5 inches. So that is what you should do. This is what you should have, guys. Once you've done this, you're good to go. So I'm going to cut out these excesses we have here around this down part. We don't need them for this tutorial, so I'm going to be cutting it out. And guys, this is it for the scallop design around the down part. So place your pattern like this. Okay, making sure you indicate your allowance area from the center part. Place your pattern like this, like so, and you're going to be noting the where you have your dart intake on your main bodies. Okay, ensure that the dart line aligns with each other. So use your pin and secure. Okay, secure with your pin. That is the dart area on the main body. Secure with your pin and place this like this. Okay, place a pattern like this and go ahead to use your pin to secure the pattern paper to the main bodies, the main fabric. All right, so watch what I'm doing here. Secure with your pin, and after that you're going to head on to cutting out the excesses as well you have on your main bodies, just as like you did for the pattern paper. Also cut out the excesses you have on the main bodies like this. Do the same thing for your lining piece, and also do the same thing for the back part. So for the back part, is just the same process I did here for the back part. All right, so there was nothing different I did on the back parts. I had to do the back part off camera because this video was becoming too long. All right, so yeah, I'm going to do the same thing for the lining piece. As you can see here, see how I'm matching the dart area. Place it together like this. Use your pin to secure and ensure that everything is in place. So before you cut out your scallop design on the lining piece, ensure that both your lining piece and the main fabric is of the same length. All right, if one is longer than the other, you know what to do. You have to make sure that it is of the same length. Okay, so I noticed that I was having a bit of hard time trying to cut with my scissors, so I had to use my pencil to simply trace out the scallop design. After tracing it out, I'm going to take off the main bodies and cut out the excesses I have on the the lining piece. Okay, so guys, once I was done cutting this is what it looks like on the lining piece. Now I'm going to also cut the scallop design on the neckline. I'm going to bring back the front part and take out the pattern paper, because actually I'm not going to be needing this pattern paper anymore. So now back to the neckline, I'm going to also mark out the scallop design. To do that, you have to come here on the center part, on the upper part here, take out 4.5 inches, which is the shoulder measurement, which we don't need for this blouse. Take it out and indicate your neckline, okay, your neck depth. To do that, you're going to come down by like 7 inches. So for me, I came down by 7 inches. If you want to show much of your cleavage, you can come down by 8 inches or 8.5 inches, but 7 inches was completely fine by me. Now when you came down by your neck depth measurement, make a mark there. Then from there, you're going to simply start creating your scallop design on the neckline. So the same way I did for the down part, I'm going to be doing the same thing here. Okay, but I'm going to be having about 3 scallop design on this neckline. All right, so if you want to have more than 3, feel free to create like more than 3 scallop design. I wanted to have 3, that when I open it up, it's going to be 6. Okay, when I open this front bodies up, it's going to be 6. All right, so I don't know if you guys can see what I am doing here, but I was just trying my best to make sure that the chalk was kind of visible enough for you guys to see. Okay, so in a short while, I'm going to be showing you guys what I have after I created the scallop design. All right, so guys, this is what I have here. Hope you can see. So from this part, I came in like this and marked all the way to where I have the 6 inches point. Okay, so I'm going to now take my scissors and cut this out from here like this. I'm going to cut it and follow the design I marked earlier. Okay, so you guys can see, just follow the design you have around your neckline, the scallop design you have around your neckline. Okay, once I was through with that, this is exactly what I have here, guys. I hope you can see clearly. And when I open this up, this is what you have. So I have about six scallop design on the neckline. Hope you understand what I am doing here. Now I'm folding this back because I'm going to simply use this to also cut on the lining piece. So guys, I have cut on the lining piece as well. I did that off camera, and for this back here, I also did this off camera for the sake of time. So I did the same thing I did for the front part on the back part. Okay, so you can see I have like 3 scallop design on the neckline for the back bodies. Okay, now I'm going to be stitching the lining to the main fabric. Like I'm going to be turning this front part up. To do that, you're going to place the front part, the right side facing you, and you're going to also place the right side of the lining piece facing the right side of the main fabric, and you're going to head onto your machine and stitch by like 0.025 or 0.3. Okay, you don't want to have much allowance around this scallop design area. Okay, I did that, and this is exactly what I have. For the back part, I'm going to be joining the zipper allowance. Okay, so join your zipper allowance by the allowance you have. For me, I am left with about 1 inch, so I'm going to be marking 1 inch. Okay, all the way from the down part to the top part, and after that, I'm going to secure this with my pin. Okay, so once I was through with that, this is what it looks like. I'm going to open this up to give it a beautiful press around this zipper area. Now once I was through with that, I'm going to bring the front bodies and join to the back to the back bodies, and I'm going to be joining by the side seam. Okay, so notice that I cage the bustier part. Now if you don't know how to cage the bust, check my channel. I have a detailed tutorial on how you can cage the bust. All right, so now you've seen how I am placing this. Ensure you place the right side facing the right side of the front, facing the right side of the back bodies. Okay, and you're going to be stitching by the allowance you have left. Now I would advise you take your measurements after stitching, turning the front with your lining and the back with your lining. Ensure you take in your different measurements, your bust circumference, under bust, waist, and the hip circumference. Now once you're done with that, you're going to be placing it like this, and you're going to simply stitch by the allowance you have. Okay, so I'm securing with my pin. Now I'm going to take to my machine, and I'm going to be stitching by the allowance I have left. Okay, hope you understand what I'm doing here. So stitch this side by the allowance you have left. Do the same thing for this part. Once you're done with that, iron it up. Now for the sleeve part, I'm going to be showing you guys how you can cut your off shoulder sleeve. So this is the pattern I'm going to be using for the drafting of this off shoulder sleeve. From this top part here, you're going to be subtracting 4.5 inches. That's the measurement of your shoulder. That's if you subtracted 4.5 inches for the drafting of the main bodies. Now I came down here by 8.5 inches. That's for my armhole curve. Calculate your armhole curve and know what to come down by. Then from there, I'm going to connect these 2 points into a straight line. As you can see, I'm going to label this as the armhole line. Okay, back to this top part here, you're still going to take away 4.5 inches, and you're going to be taking the length of the elbow. Okay, so take the length of the elbow measurement. For me, I have 14 inches. Then I'm going to connect the point I marked there earlier into a straight line. Now having done this, I'm going to simply retrace this line so that it becomes visible for you guys to see properly. Once I was through with that, I'm going to label this as the elbow line. Okay, so the next measurement we are going to be taking will be the sleeve length. Now back to this top part here, you're going to take away the shoulder measurements. For me is 4.5 inches, and you're going to indicate the length of your sleeve. So for this sleeve I am drafting here, I used 23 inches for the sleeve length. Okay, so make a point there, and also add your extra allowance which you'll be using to hem your sleeve. For me, I added just 1 inch to the entire sleeve length measurement. Okay, so it means that I'm going to be using 1 inch as hemming. All right, so for you can add 1.5 inches, you can even add 2 inches, depends on what you want. Okay, so I label that part as the sleeve length, and this is the hem line. All right, so we've gotten the armhole line, the elbow line, the sleeve length, and the hem line. Okay, so now next thing I'm going to do now will be to come back here to this elbow line, and I'm going to this armhole line, sorry, I am going to be indicating the armhole measurements. Okay, so to get your armhole, you're going to divide your bust measurement by 6 plus 1.5 inches. Okay, once you've gotten that point here, make a point on the armhole line, then come back to this top part here. From this center line here, mark 4 inches plus half-inch allowance. So the 4 inches, when we open it, it's going to be 8 inches. Now the half-inch there, we are going to be using it to stitch to the main bodies. Okay, so for each sleeve you have 8 inches, then for the other one you have 8 inches. So when you join everything to the main bodies, you're going to have the complete around shoulder measurements. You're going to have your complete around shoulder measurement. Hope you understand. So from that point you marked 4.5 inches, you're going to have to make a curve all the way to the armhole line. Okay, make a curve all the way to your armhole line, just like this. So with this, we've gotten the armhole measurements. All right, Now the next measurement we are going to take will be this elbow measurement. You're going to get your round elbow measurement, divide that measurement by 2. Okay, now for this lines here, you're going to take your wrist measurement. All right, depends on where you have your length, the length of your sleeve. So wherever you have the length of your sleeve, take the circumference of that length. Okay, once you've taken the circumference of that length, come down here to your sleeve length and divide that measurement by 2. So after I did that, I went ahead to use my slight curve to connect each of those points I have on the armhole line, the elbow line, and the sleeve length. Okay, now for the allowance area, you notice that I used a straight ruler to connect from the sleeve length to the hem line. Hope you understand. So I'm going ahead now to indicate the scallop design for this part. So from this center line here, I came in by like 1.5 inches, and from that point I marked 1.5 inches, I came down by 1 inch. You can also come down by 0.75. okay, so for that, from there I started creating the scallop design from the center part, connected it to the 1 inch which I came down by, and back to the 4.5 inches. That will be for my scallop design. As you've seen me done here, I'm going ahead now to cut out the excesses which I don't need for this sleeve pattern. So guys, this is what I have after I was done cutting this out. I'm going to use this to cut on my fabric. Please notice that while I drafted this on the pattern paper, I did not add allowance, hence I added allowance to the main fabric. Okay, so as you've seen, I cut the upper part without adding any allowance to it, but for the side I added 1 inch. And I also cut the facing for this sleeve. You need facing to turn the scallop design, or you can use your bias strip, but I recommend you use facing for it. So I'm going to take this to my sewing machine and stitch by like 0.3 inch. Okay, do the same thing for the other part. Then on this down part, on this part here, which after stitching I'm going to use my hemming gum to gum the facing to the main fabric, and for this part here I'm going to hem this down part by using my hemming gum to hem it. Okay, so I don't want to have any stitch shown on the right side. So this is the main bodies. After I was done stitching the sides together, I went ahead to stitch the zipper off camera. All right, so this is what this looks like. Let me open this up for you guys to see. This is looking really neat and very beautiful. As you guys can see, this is looking very beautiful. So next I'm going to do will be to stitch the sleeve which I cut out earlier. So for the sleeve, after I join the side, I'm going to be fixing it to this armhole. But before that, I'm going to have to trim out the armhole a bit. You know, we did not trim out the armhole after we stitched the side. So after you stitch the side of your main bodies, your armhole would not be the same again. It will not be, the measurements will, like, it will shorten. So you really have to trim off the armhole area. Okay, now you're going to fold this like this, and from this center point here, you're going to be indicating your neck, your round shoulder measurements. Okay, on this neckline, indicate your round shoulder measurement. For me, I had 6 inches. Then from that point here, I'm going to also mark the armhole measurements. All right, so for my armhole, I have 4.5 inches, which I made a mark from the neckline all the way to this part here. That will be for my armhole measurement. So I'm going to be cutting out these excesses I have around this area. So guys, this is what it looks like after I trimmed out the armhole. So this is how I am going to be, where I'm going to be fixing the sleeve around this part here. Okay, so yeah, we are basically through for this one here for now. So I'm going to be showing you guys this one that is going to be worn inside. You know, the Ankara is going to be worn on top of this one here. So I had to stitch this off camera. This is just like a basic bodice that I've fixed the zipper here already, and this is where I'm going to be fixing the button. There's going to be button on the back parts, so this totally depends on you. If you want to have button on the back part, you can as well add your button, or if you want your zipper to go all the way up, you can as well do the same thing. Just be creative about it. This is just a normal basic top with a long sleeve, okay, and a bell sleeve. All right, so yeah, so for the sleeve here, I have stitched this together, and this is exactly what I have here. So I went ahead to iron that up. Now I am going to be fixing the sleeve to this main bodice here. So around this armhole, you are going to attach the sleeve like this. Okay, so just attach your sleeve, like use your pin to secure your sleeve to the main bodice. Then after that, you're going to head on to the machine and stitch by just half of an inch. So once you're through with that, you're going to either overlock it, or you're going to be piping it, okay, to have a neat finish around on the wrong side. So I'm going to fix that and show you guys what I have. So this is what I have here after I stitched the sleeve to the main bodies, and I had to wear this on the mannequin too for you guys to see the result of this, all the work I've been doing here. So guys, this is looking very beautiful. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in my next one.